China has been ahead of India. China started growing at 8, 9, 10%, starting in about 1980 or so. So it has been at it a lot longer. Its growth rate has also been more steady, more percentage or 2 percentage points higher than India's growth rate. But above all, I think the fact that China has done this for 3 decades means that its size is today 3 times that of India. I personally believe that give India another decade, and India will almost certainly be as much there on everybody's radar screen as China is today. With 10% growth sustained over another decade, India would actually turn into about $5 trillion, and that will count for a lot more. I mean, so right now still there are some skeptics who think that Indian growth rate might actually not sustain itself over the next 10 years or so. My personal view is that it will sustain, but that remains to be seen. So wait another 10 years. You'll hear about India. Probably in some ways even more than China, because India has been a democracy, has remained so, whereas China still is authoritarian. And what will happen to China as it keeps growing remains to be seen, because most other authoritarian countries that grew rapidly, like Taiwan and Korea, which used to be authoritarian, transited out of authoritarian regimes into democracy. But these are military dictatorships. China is a very different kind of authoritarian regime. How it is going to exit from the Communist Party is remains to be seen. I mean, there is one view that the CP, which is the Communist Party, and the PC, the personal computer, are a bit incompatible with each other. As the PC culture takes over, controlling the flow of ideas and the media, etc., is going to be that much more difficult. So, whether this is going to be a smooth exit or a rough exit would determine ultimately, where China lands. But India, on the other hand, has been a democracy, the most robust one actually in the developing world, probably one of the only 4 countries, India, Sri Lanka, Jamaica, and Costa Rica, which have been democracies for that long, in the post-Second World War era. Now, most countries have turned democratic, but India is clearly has had the longest standing democratic system. And so that is a big strength of the system, because that also means that everybody has a voice. When growth happens, it is more likely to be shared, and it has no more transition to do on political front. It has a lot of reforms to do, both on political and economic front, but at least not a transition of the kind that China has to do. So I really think, and also philosophically, that makes India a more likely partner for countries like the United States and Japan, and that movement rapprochement is already underway. China has been somewhat more belligerent, and so the Japanese are concerned and the Americans are concerned too. So I think political equations are also going to reconfigure in the next 10 years or so. So we'll hear, I think, much more about India in the coming decade than we do today.